Hello guys, so welcome to your video on Python programming tutorials. In this tutorials, we are going to be looking at Introduction to Python list. Now, Python list is one of the most popular used data structure in Python. You're going to be using list a lot in your Python programming career, so it's good to learn well about list. Now, we studied Python string in the last video. If you want to learn more about indexing, I will advise you to watch that video because there I talked more about indexing, and Python as well as Python list as well as Python string are part of a data type which we call sequences. Now, sequences have similar behavior for indexing, concatenation, repetition, and the slice operator. So in Python strings, I explained most of that, so you can learn more about that in the last video. But I'm going to be trying my best to repeat some of that in this video too. Now, Python list is similar to arrays in other programming languages, but the difference with Python list and those programming languages is that Python list can have data types, different data types, not only a single data type, while arrays can contain only a single data type. Now, in Python, we also have the index and the slice operator. And Python also start counting in Python list items are counted starting from index 0. Now we can use the plus operator with Python, which is known as the concatenation operator, which combines two lists together, and we can use the repetition operator, which also multiply lists by a certain number and then combine them together. Now lists are mutable, which means you can change items in a particular index, but you can't do that with strings because strings are immutable. Now lists are mutable. That's one of the key reasons why lists are used a lot in Python. And there's a similarity between what we call lists and tuples, but tuples are immutable, just like their counterpart strings. Now, here is an example of a list of items. As you can see, we have items of different data types here. We have false, boolean, we have a complex, we have a list inside a list, we have a tuple inside a list. Now, we even have a boolean and we have a dictionary inside a list. Now, the length of the list using the built-in method known as len, we can find the length of a list by using length followed by the list. As you can see, we have length of list 1. The number of items in the list is 8. And we have length of list 2, which is the number of items in list 2, which is 3. So here we print length of list 1, list 2, we have 8, 3. Now we print list 1, this is list 1, and here we have list 2. Now, list 1 is equal to this, list 2 is equal to this. Now we can also have, like I explained to you guys, Python also uses indexes. It counts lists starting from 0 right up to the end, and if you want to start counting from the last item, it's -1 right up to the start. So we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, 6, 7, and -8. Now -1 is the last item. As you can see, it prints the last item, while -3 is -1, 2, 3, 5 the complex number, and here we have -5. You can count from the back or you can start counting from the front. 0 is the first, 3 is the 0, 1, 2, 3 is 4, is the string 4, and 2 is 0, 1, 2, 3.5. So as you can see here, you can check it on your own and try to calculate it. All right, so next we have the list here. Now we can also use the slice operator like I explained. Now slice operator is extracting a portion of the list out to form another list. Now the slice operator starts here from 0 right up to 5 minus 1. Like I said, the second value here is 1 higher than where the slice operator should stop. So in this case is 0 to 4. So we are starting to start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to end at 4 like you see in the output here. Now here is, you can also use the third parameter, which is the step. By default the step is 1, so you don't need to put this step here. By default step is always 1. Now step is how many items should be skipped when extracting from the array. In this case we are extracting from 0 right up to 6 with a step of 1, which is normally the default. Now in this case we are extracting from 0 to 5 with a step of 3. So 3 items are going to be jumped. So we are going to start from here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we are going, that's how we are going to move when we are using steps of 3. Now -5 to -1 means we want to start from -5. This is -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to start from here and move to -1. So it's starting from this string 4 right up to this tuple, as you can see. Now -1, we omit the second part. I said when you omit the first part, it means from the start. If you omit the second part, it means to the end. And so here we said we want to move from -1 right up to the start, to the end. And here, so we are going steps of -1, which means we are going backwards. You can have positive steps, which means forward, and we have negative steps, which means backward. So since we are going backward, the n is going to be the first item, since we are starting from -1, the last item. So we are moving backward. So this is another way to reverse a list. As you can see, this list is the reverse of the original list. All right, so let's move forward. In this case, you can see we are printing out this list. We have another list here, and we are printing the length of the list, just the same stuff. We have 7 and 5. So we have 7 items in the first list and 5 items in the next list. Now, obtaining items using index operator, as you can see, second here, we are obtaining the index at index 2. Remember, index start from 0. So it will be the third. This is the first, -1 is the last, and -3 is the third to the last. So as you can see here, we have that. You can check that on your spare time. Now we have extracting sublist from list. I told you we are starting here from index 1 right up to index 5. Here we are starting from the start to the end, and we are making jumps of 2. Here we are starting from index 3 right up to the end. When you omit the last, it means the end. If you omit the beginning, it means the first. Now you can check that out, and you're going to get this. Now in this case, we are adding lists together. As you can see, we are adding list 4, list 3, and list 4, and we are assigning that to list 5. When you print list 5, you're going to say combination. Now it's going to combine the list together and form a single list, which we are printing out. Now we are multiplying this list by 2, list 4 by 2. It's going to multiply the list by 2 and then add those two lists together. Now we have here where we multiply this list 4 by 4 and then append it to this list which we created here. So as you can see, this is the output. Now you can check all this. You can pause the video and understand all this, but it's just to show you when you can add lists together using the concatenation operator, and you can also repeat lists using the repetition operator, and all those things are going to return new lists with the result of your operation. Now, as you can see here, we have list var1. As you can see, we are printing the second item, the sixth item, and the fourth item. Now, the item at the second, sixth, and fourth index. Now, as you can see, these are those items here. We are printing them out. Now, we can change the index. That's why we say lists are mutable, which means you can change. So here we are assigning a new item 8, the string 8 to index 2, JavaScript to index 6, and the tuple 9, 10, 11 to index 4. And if you see, we print those same index back like we did here, we are going to have the new values. As you can see, even the list itself has changed. It now has 8 JavaScript and it has the tuple here. So it means we have actually changed the items in the list. So you can change item in a list by specifying the index and using the assignment operator to assign a new value to that index. So that's what makes lists to be what we call mutable. Unlike strings, if you try, for example, here we have blue empire. We want to correct this item here, so we try to assign e to the 6th index, and we have an error here. Why? Because strings are immutable. You can't change the string at a particular index. So lists are mutable, but strings are immutable. All right, moving forward. Here is how lists are represented internally. So we have list 1. List 1 has 1, 0, 1, 2, right up to 5 items. As you can see, it has values in all those 5 items. Now, if you say list 2 equals to 2.5, what happens is that the item at the second index will now point to, or let's say list 1, 0, 1, the first index, to assign it to 20.5. The item will now stop pointing what was pointing before to a new item. So the object is going to be empty and it's going to be garbage collected. We have a video on garbage collection. You can watch a video on garbage collector. Now, to assign hello to the item at 3, you can see what will happen. It was first at 1, 4. You can see it was first at 1, 4, the list 1, 4. We are assigning now to a new string. It stopped pointing to that 1, 4 and points to the new string. So this will be garbage collected. So this is just to show that internally lists are actually immutable, because they don't actually replace the items, the values in the object. They actually points to new objects, but generally lists are mutable. So don't mind if you don't understand that. You're going to understand. So this video, I was just trying to explain to you guys how to use string, the index, the concatenation, and the repetition operator. Hope you enjoyed this video and hope you learned something new. Thanks, and see you in the next video. Have a nice day.